everyone. This is Tamara from shelfaddiction.com, and welcome to episode 55. Joining me is Coastal Magic Convention featured author A.E. Villa, also known as Adrienne Villa. She's one of the talented authors that will be in attendance at CMC this upcoming February in Daytona Beach, Florida. A.E. Villa is the author of over 12 gay contemporary romance titles, including today's featured title, The Secrets in My Scowl, that was released this past October. Be sure to check out Adrienne's books and find her all over social media. Her links can be found below in the show notes. If you'd like to comment on today's episode, please do so below or tweet at me on Twitter at Shelf Addiction. If you want more featured author interviews, give this episode a like so that I know that you want to hear from more authors. Hi, Adrienne. Good evening. How are you this lovely day?
Good evening. I'm good, Tamara. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so glad you were able to talk with me today. And we have got some fun stuff we're going to cover today. Are you excited for our topic?
I am very excited. This is going to be good. It's one of my favorite topics.
Awesome. So you guys, we are here this evening talking about romance, which is male, gay romance. If you guys don't know, I'm new to this genre, and I know some of you in the audience are and some of you are not. So you're going to come along with me on my exploration of romance. And Adrienne is going to help me out with that.
Okay. I'm happy to.
Yes. Okay. So, before we jump into that, I know that you writers read as much as us readers do. So if you're reading anything right now, would you care sharing what's on your nightstand?
Okay. Well, yeah, I do read a lot. I always like to say I am a reader, actually, before I am a writer. Oh. So I do have to get my fair share of reading in. Right now, I'm really on a huge Jerry Cole kick right now. His first time romance series has lots of them. So I'm really on that kick right now. I'm actually reading his newest one, which is Catch Me, which is a football first time gay story. Really enjoying that. I enjoy all of his work. I recently I try to read at least a book a week. Sometimes it's hard when I'm writing, but I really need to get that in me if I want to, have some happiness in my life. So I do have to still keep my reading up. I read Torch recently, Jocelyn Drake. That was a huge one. That series is all alpha male, action, crime, suspense, huge series. It's the Unbreakable Bond series. And then of course I'm going right into Amy Nicole. She has a Dying to Be Loved book that just released. So I keep this something back to back. My TBR is full all the time, and I just binge read, especially in between books. I will binge read as much as I can. So that's on my TBR for right now.
Yes, you are a true reader. I can tell because we all binge read and we all have a mile-long TBR list.
Yes.
Awesome. What books or authors would you say have influenced your writing style?
From the beginning, I would start with what got me hooked on it would be Elin Harris, who is deceased now, but is a African American author. And I started with one of his first, and I just got hooked from there, and that was 11 years ago.
Oh, I know Elin Harris, actually. I met him at a signing. I read his series, and that was the first and last that I read of that genre, but I really enjoyed it. Basil was a crazy guy. I'm like, I love it.
He got me started on it, and I have been hooked ever since. I have not went back. I haven't read anything else MF at all since I started reading his books. And then I discovered Goodreads. And I just discovered this whole world of authors. And I started with G.A. Hauser, I would say, is the one who I really got hooked on next. And she just really opened my eyes that women, write this genre too. That was huge to me. I did not know that. I was automatically came in thinking that it was going to be all men writers.
Right.
And I was hugely mistaken, obviously. And so I started with her, which is my number one recommendation to anyone who's considering wanting to start her first books in her Heroes series are, I think, some of the biggest that will definitely hook you. And I always recommend In and Out is always my first recommendation, is The Firefighters. Love story. And if that doesn't hook you, I don't know what will. But G.A. Hauser was my next, and I just read her whole catalog, which is huge, but surprisingly didn't take me long.
So what kind of, so we know you had, some influence when you started reading, romance books, but what made you kind of want to take the plunge and say, hey, I can write this. I like writing this.
That kind of, like I said, I was reading reading solid for a good, 7-8 years. And my husband actually is the one who said, you could probably write your own story. You keep your head in a book at all times. Like, you can probably just write your own story. And I was like, it was just kind of like an epiphany, kind of thing. Like, wow, maybe I can. And I think literally the next week I sat down with my laptop and started writing Blue Moon. And it just came to me. It was kind of all the things that I felt like I would like to read in a story that I hadn't been getting collectively. That's why Blue Moon's kind of all over the place. There's a whole lot going on in there, but I just put in everything I just love in MM, and that's how Blue Moon came.
Awesome. So how many books published are you in now?
This is book 13.
Wow, impressive.
So.
You're also writing as much as you're reading.
Yeah, I'm looking around like maybe I should count, but I believe book releasing coming up in December for Christmas Eve is book 13.
Awesome. Okay, so what's the name of the title coming this year? At the end of the year.
Well, I released Secrets in My Scowl just a few weeks ago at the end of October. And what I'm just finished up now that is releasing Christmas Eve is the next installment in the Nothing Special series, which is my biggest series, I do believe. Not number-wise, but just as far as fan base and readership, Nothing Special is the biggest. So I'm finally putting out the next Nothing Special book.
Okay, very cool. So let's go on with your recommendations. What's your next recommendation for a novice MM reader?
Okay, so I tried to give readers a broad spectrum. There's a lot of subgenres, in there. I write primarily, mostly alpha males, but there's a lot of subgenres. Mine's all mostly all contemporary. But I also have paranormal, and I love reading paranormal, and I recommended Andrea Large. Her Tameness of the Wolf books, which she has 4 currently. And I have not heard of her continuing with that series anymore, but it's marine werewolves. So of course I'm always on the alpha kick, but marine werewolves. And the way she tells this story, I just feel like is such a break from the normal MM paranormal shifter series. It's very different. I mean, these characters kind of mimic roles that were very prominent, legendary roles. And the way she portrays these werewolves, they're not just, meet a mate and then, they're in love, and just a completely different story, a military story.
Okay.
And so I recommend that for paranormal. Huge lover. I fangirl all over her when I see her.
Okay. I'm going to add that to my TBR.
I'm sorry. I said Andrea Large. I'm sorry. I'm reading down my list. It's Kendall McKenna. I was like, why am I saying Andrea? That's Kendall McKenna, who writes the Tameness of the Wolf books. Okay,
Kendall McKenna. I'll be adding that to my TBR because you probably don't know this, but my listeners, you guys know I love paranormal, urban fantasy. I love it all. So I'm about that life. So I'll definitely be adding that one as well.
You will not be sorry. I promise you.
Okay. And what's the next one on your list?
The next one is the War Trilogy. This is Andrea Large. She writes the War Trilogies. It's kind of a Wounded Warrior's story to me. It even say that makes it sound like it's a sad story, but it's really a happily ever after. It's about two Marines, that find each other. They both experience some horrible tragedies in Afghanistan, and they come back to the States, and they're coping with life, coping with loss, and they find each other. It's a gay for you story, which I love that subgenre too.
Okay, this is my little greenness showing. So what does, or blue, whatever that color is for people that don't know anything. So what is gay for you?
Gay for you is the MCs or one of the MCs, whichever, was straight.
Oh, okay.
All their life, or has always identified as straight.
Mm-hmm.
And then meets someone who stirs these feelings and emotions, and meets a man that stirs these feelings and emotions in them, and they, give into
them. Okay, got it.
Yes, just gay for them. So,
okay.
And this Marine, he was married and lost his wife in Afghanistan, and his friend is there, to help pick up the pieces, and they form this bond. Yeah. And the emotions fly. That's an amazing story. That's I believe she has 3 books in that series. So I'm not a huge serial reader.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind, 4 or 5 books is good, 6. But I'm not really going into I don't really recommend, 20 plus books for you. You have to.
That's a lot.
It's a long way. It's a long way to go back. So yeah. I do like to recommend books that are kind of, you can get, nice and caught up.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's see. How many was that? Was that 4 suggestions already, or just 2? I heard you mention a few earlier on.
So GA is my first, and then I did the paranormal there with Kendall McKenna, and then the War trilogy. So that's 3.
Okay.
And I have 2 more.
Yep.
On my list. Well, I'm really going by authors. So authors that will hopefully you can get you definitely hooked on MM.
Okay. What's your 4th one?
4th one is this is if you love the superstardom lifestyle. So my next one is Ann Lister's The Rock Gods. You may have heard of her because she's a really huge author. And The Rock Gods is about rock stars who in their lives and living in the spotlight and being an all gay band, living in that spotlight, trying to have relationships. And the public, dealing with the media and still the stigmas of being gay and that lifestyle. And she has a huge series that has 7 books, but all great. I've read them all.
Fabulous.
All great. And she segues right into protecting the rock gods. So she has a bodyguard series of protecting the rock stars too. So she's amazing. And what comes out of her mind just amazes me. And so I enjoy that.
And last but not least,
last but definitely not least, and this didn't go in any real type of order.
Yeah,
is Kendall Alexander.
I've heard that name before somehow. Is she very popular as well?
I believe it.
Okay,
both of them. There's 2 of them. And yes, hugely popular ladies, very talented ladies, and I think still my all-time favorite is Texas Pride. If you like cowboys,
depends on my mood,
right? So I had to put that in there. So Texas Pride is still it's in my top 5 favorite MM books, which I've read. I'm in the thousands, so I would say I'm in the thousands. I've read MM books, and Texas Pride is in my top 5.
So were these listed in particular order, like 1 through 5, or were these just your top 5, period? Or do you have, like, of these 5, if you had to say start here, where would you say?
I'll say top 5, period. So they were not in any order. I would say if you want a contemporary read to start with MM, I would say start with G.A. Hauser's In and Out. That's hot love. It's not too much, sometimes, this genre can be so much. I mean, these aren't erotic writers where there's not a ton of plot. It's morely focused on the sex in the book. These aren't just erotic writers. These are strong plot, strong character background, everything that you want in a full length novel. And so that's why I recommend that one.
Well, you know what? I like that all of your recommendations, they were all well-rounded. So they pretty much touched every subgenre, or a lot of them, that people enjoy in MF, romances. So like paranormal and contemporary and, military feel, you had a lot of variety. So that's really cool. So there's something for everyone.
Definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So let's talk a little bit about The Secrets in My Scowl, since that was the most recent release. And I actually started reading this a couple days ago, and I got the preview for Kindle. And I was like, wow, this is really good. I got to find out what's going to happen next. So
Thank you. That's great. That is awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I was looking on Goodreads, and it looks like everyone is really loving this book. Your ratings are amazing for this title, so congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a while since I wrote this type of love story. I'm usually, like I said, a lot of action, a lot of, suspense and gunfire and all these types of things. So this is really just a straight contemporary wooing the guy type read. So I'm glad it's going over well, because I haven't wrote a book like that in quite some time.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Jacob was having a hard time of things at the onset of this book. So
he goes through, doesn't he?
Yeah. I'm like, oh my goodness, man. So let's talk a little bit about our two leading guys in this book. I haven't gotten to the part where he meets Wild yet, because that wasn't included in the free preview. But let's talk a little bit about them. Are they both alphas, or I don't know?
Yes. Yeah, they are both, I'm not going to say alpha, but manly men. Very, very manly men. Jacob, he is ex-military, so I would say he is my more alpha character. And yeah, he's just had a rough go at life. Everything that he has tried and attempted as far as, love or relationship has backfired on him, has shot him down. So he's a very jilted, very, pessimistic guy. Mm-hmm. And he meets Wild. Wild is a wedding planner, but again, did not make him a, stereotypical wedding planner. He's very manly. He's stylish and things like that, but he's not an infinite character at all. Mm-hmm. And so when they meet, there's like I said in the blur, there's a lot of sparks flying. I mean, their occupations are such a so different that they can't help but bump heads in the very beginning. So a divorce lawyer and a wedding planner is a very unlikely match. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to choose characters like I really thought of like what's the most opposite characters that I could possibly think of. Mm-hmm. I wanted there to be that spark and that in the very beginning.
So it's that I can't stand you, but dang, okay, let's see what's going on here. Because I mean, I see that a lot in romance where like, the characters really hate each other in the beginning, but then something happens and then the next thing you know, it's on and popping and they just are all in love with each other. So
yeah, I'll call it kind of a enemies to lovers story.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't really say they were enemies. Jacob was just so closed off and not open to any type of friendship or any type of welcoming or anything at all. So he immediately is just not even liking the name of Wild's business, his occupation, before he even meets him.
Right.
So yeah, it does start out a little rough, but Wild is very charismatic. He's very, nothing can really get him riled up. So all that bravado that Jacob comes at him with, he brushes it off his shoulder. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Jacob can't help but like, this guy is so different than any man I could possibly probably meet, and ends up, hearing him out, I guess you could say.
Okay. I always have to ask when I'm talking about romances, what is the heat level on a scale of 1 to 10? Like 1 being, I don't know, Christian fiction maybe, and 10 being like full blown erotica. Where does this fall on that scale?
Okay. Definitely not erotica, but my scenes are descriptive. Not, where you're flipping page after page after page is sex, but they are descriptive, and I want the reader to feel that passion in the bedroom. I want them wherever they're making love at. I want the reader to feel it. So they are descriptive. So I'm going to put it at 7.
Okay.
It might be a good place to put my books at.
Okay.
Definitely
Awesome.
far from the 1 though.
Okay. Hey, people want to know. They want to know before they pick it up if they're going to be reading about hand holding or something else.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to get all of it. You're going to get it all.
Duly noted. So how did you come up with the plot for this title? You mentioned that, you really wanted polar opposite characters and that you hadn't written something like this in a while. So how did this plot evolve for you?
Like I said, Jacob was just in my mind. Just this, I kept seeing this scowly, frowning, pissed off character, and couldn't really figure out why. I had to give him a why. So I know that what you're reading, that you see, I gave a lot of background as to why he's like that. I felt like that would be needed. You can't just put a ticked off character out there without getting a really in-depth reason why he's like that. And then, like I said, I wanted him to, like I said, to have an opposite. It took me a while to come up with Wild. Even the name I got from an episode of Judge Judy. I didn't even know his name was gonna be Wild. But I don't know. I just kept I needed him to, in order to pull through, it just had to be a character that was so different, someone he wouldn't usually encounter. Yeah. Because it was just a typical guy. It would be kind of far-fetched that, why would this guy make it work with him when nobody else has?
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think were a few of the challenges that you came across while writing this story? Whether it was research or, psychological or literary or, whatever that, might have given you some pause while writing.
Yeah, the psychological of Jacob's character was a little difficult. I did do a couple interviews with some people who I just feel like are always mad at the world type people. I hope they don't listen to this interview. The reason why I was interviewing them, but it's, what makes you like that? Because I'm not like that. I like to see, I can usually see good in just about anything. So it was a little bit difficult as far as writing Jacob's role to really get the character to feel why he was, the way he was. And then even after some time, after he got his law degree, which he wanted so bad, and things, working out, he has his office and everything, you should be, feeling a little better about yourself or feeling happy, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
So that part was a little difficult because I really just kept wanting to jump into make him happy. Make him happy.
You know what? Happy. And I understand that because just from reading the bit that I read, I'm like, man, this guy is hard to, crack. Like you could tell he's a hard, he has a hard shell. And I'm like, man, nothing. He is like really something else. A lot of people can't tolerate him.
Yeah, exactly. And I actually know a couple people like that who just can never see the good in anything. They've been, you have a rough road to hoe and everything, but, is there anything good? Can you laugh about anything?
Right.
And I actually talked to them, a little while, and it was a interesting couple of interviews, believe me. I don't even think they wanted to talk for very long.
Like pulling teeth, huh?
Yeah, Jesus.
Okay. Well, we know that this is a standalone, and we know that your second book in your series, that's a second book, right? That's coming out Christmas Eve? Or was that another installment?
This is book 5. This is book 5 in another special series.
Okay. Okay. What's that title again? So I can make sure everyone knows what that is.
This is simply called Nothing Special 5.
Okay.
Because there's nothing special. It starts off the series, which is free right now, by the way, just in case you're considering wanting to pick it up. Nothing Special, the first one that kicks it off, is a free book right now on instafreebie.com.
Okay.
And books 2, 3, and 4 all have subtitles. But 5 is all of them are in there. So I didn't want to give it just a specific. There are 2 new MCs that are the love interest as well. But this is, again, all of them together being that task force that everyone has fallen in love with. So all of them are in this one. So I didn't want to give it a subtitle. So this one is just Nothing Special 5. Okay.
So let's talk a little bit about Coastal Magic, since that is what brought us together here today. That is a book con that is coming this upcoming February in Daytona Beach, Florida. I'm very much looking forward to it. This is my first time attending. Adrienne, have you been to Coastal Magic in the past?
I went last year. That was my first time there. I went as a reader. So any conference that I want to check out or go to, I will go as a reader first before I will ask to go as an author. And obviously one time fell in love with it. It is an amazing conference. The organizers just do a fabulous job. Everything flows smoothly. My number 2, there's no drama. There wasn't a whole lot. Yes, that's my number 2 that I look for is, 1, is it organized? 2, is it drama free? Is everybody just happy to be there? Is everybody just happy to see each other? Connect again, talk about romance, talk about literature. There's no, neck biting and all this type. I can't deal with that. And I've been to some conferences that I won't go back to because of that. So that's my number 2. Yeah. So everybody's just happy to be there. Everybody's just happy to be talking about books, and it's so much fun.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm looking forward to it. This is actually the perfect time for me to get away from Michigan, because it's probably going to be 10 degrees below zero. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I can imagine.
Oh, yeah. So I know they always have discussion panels. Did you sign up for any yet?
I'm not big with talking, like that. I'm more put my words on paper type person. I don't really like to be, in attention like that, but I didn't want to, just not sign up for anything. So I did sign up for one that I think would be, okay for me, which is, something like what did you do before you started writing, and how or if that has influenced, your writing. And so I signed up for that one.
Very cool. Well, I don't know what I'll be signed up for as a moderator yet. I guess we get told what our jobs are as we get closer. So.
Oh, okay. So you're going to be moderating one of the panels.
Oh, more than one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all of the featured bloggers have to moderate panels. So I don't know if I'll end up with 2 or 3, or I don't know how that's going to go, but I think I have a panel every day at least. So. Oh,
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Are you nervous about it? Have you moderated?
You know what? I did Rust City Book Con in August, and that really helped me to, I guess, get my feet wet because I moderated something like 6 panels in 3 days. Yeah.
Okay. Right in there in the deep end.
Yeah, I was really over prepared. I like to be really prepared. And of course, the authors came through like the professionals that they were, and they carried the conversation. So there wasn't really any, silent awkward looks where I had to like fill some space, but my questions fit in smoothly and it was great. So I'm hoping for the same thing at Coastal Magic.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. I went to quite a few panels last year and they were all fun. They're all really fun. And if more of the same authors are coming back again, we're going to have a blast. They are characters, all of them. So I hope you end up on my panel.
Oh, yes, I hope so. I love doing it.
I really look forward to meeting you. And like I said, I only signed up for one panel. We'll see.
Yeah, so I look forward to meeting you there as well. Well, thank you for joining me today. It's been a blast, and I learned a lot, and I have added to my TBR list. So I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And everyone, all of Adrian's links are below, and you will find links to her, a few of her books, including her most recent release, and you can pre-order the one that's coming out December 24th. So that is it. Thank you so much again for joining me, Adrian. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. And thank you, everyone.
If you enjoyed today's interview and would like to show your support, there are a few things you can do. First, you can head on over to iTunes and give a positive 5-star review. You can follow me on Twitter. You can follow the Shelf Addiction podcast on Spreaker, the only place where you can listen live and get broadcast notifications so that you never miss an episode. Most importantly, you can share this podcast with friends and family that enjoy bookish topics. Thank you for listening, and I will see you soon with another author interview. Until next time, happy reading.